Okay, for part 2, we're picking up here where we left off. So in the first video, I talked about how I approach a search using keywords to then locate subject terms that I can use to find more relevant articles more quickly. So looking at this page now, I've got police as a subject, race discrimination as a subject, and I've got linked full text and scholarly journals marked off here. So now at this point it seems pretty easy, right? You should be able just to pick one of these items, right, and use it for your research article brief. That, unfortunately, is not the case. And this is because the research article brief, while it doesn't explicitly state this, it requires you to find what would be called clinical or empirical research. So empirical research is actually research that is based on direct observation, experimentation, or surveying. So it needs to be someone's written results of either an experiment, a survey, an analysis, an observation that they did. So many scholarly journal articles kind of rehash what other people have done and bring it all together in one place. And that's not the kind of article that you can use here. You have to actually use one that has actually actively conducted some sort of study. The video, again, under scholarly journal articles here on the tab on the research guide, that video actually discusses, it doesn't say it, but it talks about empirically based research articles. You noticed on that video that it talked a lot about the different sections of the articles, and those sections are like the abstract and the introduction, background information, the method, so that's how we did the survey and how we carried it out, what the results are, and then maybe follow-up, implications for the future, and a big long reference list. So it can be pretty easy to just launch an article and look through it to determine if it is indeed, right, the type of article that would qualify as empirical. So I haven't added anything down in my third box here. I can, and that's why on the research guide under finding articles, I list possibilities for you. You can pop any one of those terms in to see if you can't force some empirical research to come up. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you will get an empirical article, but you might have better luck finding one if you force it. Many times you won't have to because your result list will be fairly low and you'll be able to find something pretty quickly. But if your result list is very large, or if you just want to give it a shot, in the third box, I could type in experiments or surveys, etc., etc. And I'll do that in a minute. But for now, I just maybe want to take a look through my list and determine, all right, maybe I want to pick one of these. So if I come through the list here, I'm going to stop on number 4. Okay. I can see it's an academic journal. I can also see that it's available full text, and I've got some information here about the article. I'm going to find more information by clicking on its title. That's going to pop open an extended view. Okay, I know the author of the article, where the article appeared, some other information about it, as well as the abstract. Reading the abstract is pretty important to me. I really don't want to waste my time reading entire articles to determine if it's some topic that I'm interested in. So the first step that I take is I come in and I read the abstract. The abstract is just a little summary of what the article is about. If I read the abstract and I think, wow, this is really not on my topic at all, great, I can move along and I can find something new. So maybe I take a look at the abstract here and I decide that, yeah, I actually want to look at this. This looks good. I can come over on the left and click on the full text. It's going to launch the full text of the article. Okay. Mine open to the 5th page, but I'm going to scroll up to the top. Okay. And now I'm going to start looking through this article to see if it's the type of article I need for this research article brief. So I'm going to look for an abstract, which I don't really see right here. I just see that it kind of leaps right into the article, but that's okay. Sometimes small sections might be missing. And then I'm going to start looking for some background information, which it looks like is what it kind of leaps right into. And then I'm looking for like methods, where it talks about an experiment or a study. And I'm not so far seeing anything that indicates any headings in this article. And now I'm already at a reference list. So at this point, I'm pretty confident that this article is not a candidate for one that I could use to complete the research article brief. Okay, it might be a perfectly good scholarly article that I could use to help me write some other paper at some other time, but it is not an empirically based article. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my result list. And I've got a couple of choices. I can either come in and I can look at another item. Right? Maybe this one I like, I don't know. Or if I feel like, I really want to try to force something to appear, I could add one of those terms from the research guide, right, to try to force empirical research. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm just going to throw it in, again in quotes. Notice I'm not marking off subject term or anything because I don't know if it's a subject term, but I'm just going to throw that in as a term at the end. Rerun my search, I don't get anything. Okay, maybe I'm going to try experiments. And this is why I give you a lot of options, because that might happen for you. Oh, helps if I could spell experiments right, though. Let me try that. Right, only one hit here, but that doesn't really matter if it's something that I think might be really relevant and useful to my research. Okay, the title certainly catches my attention, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on the title. Maybe I'll read something in the abstract about what the article is about. And right here, I'm seeing that the article concludes X, and it presents 2 experiments. So these are things that are starting to lead me to believe that this is an article that is based upon direct observation. So I'm going to go ahead and open the full text again. Here's the first page. This is the abstract, even though it's not labeled. I can tell that the article hasn't begun yet. And now right away I'm seeing a heading, Introduction. That's a good sign in my opinion. Sorry, my computer's being kind of slow here in the scrolling. But now I'm going to start scrolling through, and I'm going to start looking for other headings. Okay, I'm getting more information about the article. And right here, methods. Okay. Looks like they did a couple of surveys. That's telling me about the method in which they conducted their research. Oh, and I just scrolled past. I saw a place where it said results. Again, I apologize for the scrolling problems. Right here, results. So we did this thing, and here are our results. And then I'm going to guess that now I'm going to go on, and there's going to be a section that talks about discussing the results, and then maybe some implications for the future. Other good signs I'm seeing as I'm scrolling through are things like tables, some numbers, right, graphs, those types of things. Those tell me that this is an empirically based research article. So I'd be pretty confident then that using this article would actually be appropriate and useful. If I didn't like, right, this article, I could come back, maybe try a different search. I could take experiments out, right? But then I would just pick an item that I felt was useful, and again, after opening it by clicking on its title, I would then scroll through and I would make sure that it had those subject headings, I'm sorry, not subject headings, those section headings that would indicate to me that it was an empirically based article. The section headings don't have to say methods. It might say process, right? That's okay. It doesn't have to use that exact terminology that they talked about in the video that's linked on the research guide. But generally speaking, it has to have those headings that talk about this is the experiment that we did, these are the results that we got, these are the findings, a discussion of those findings, and then maybe implications for the future. So that's the specific type of scholarly article that you have to find. And I'm going to do one more video for you where I talk about actually citing the document in APA style.